Alright guys, in today's video we have a lot of very exciting PlayStation news and information to go over and talk about, but before we do, I just want to let you know that I have a new merch line that has dropped. You should see it appear underneath the videos within the next 24 to 48 hours, but obviously it's inspired by Returnal, a game I'm very much excited for, so look out for that. I also want to let you know that I will be streaming tomorrow's State of Play live here on the channel at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to come hang out with me and check out what they're going to be showing off, feel free to stop by. But we're going to start here with Sony announcing May's PlayStation Plus lineup, and it looks like they're continuing to do a really good job in delivering some high quality games month over month. We know that this is an area where Sony has just been doing such a good job, and they look to keep it up here with Wreckfest for PlayStation 5. And then on PlayStation 4, they're giving out Battlefield 5 as well as Stranded Deep. I've heard good things about all of these games. I think that Battlefield 5 has improved dramatically since it first launched, and obviously this is in preparation for the Battlefield 6 reveal that's going to be happening in May. I've heard good things about Wreckfest and Stranded Deep as well. So there you go, another very solid month when it comes to the PlayStation Plus lineup. But we're moving on from that and talking about the PlayStation 5 and how sales have reached 7.8 million units, outpacing the PS4 as well as every other console within this time frame. And we're just going to talk about how well PlayStation is doing in general. One of the other things we're going to be discussing is how Sony is apparently getting ready to aggressively invest even more so in their first-party studios, as well as partnering with other studios and delivering even more exclusive games. So it says here, Sony's PlayStation 5 console has now sold 7.8 million units as of March 31st, 2021, meaning it has beaten the PS4's previous record for hardware sales during a console's first fiscal year on the market. It managed to sell 7.6 million systems to consumers during that same time frame. Demand for the console has been at an all-time high for a number of months now, translating into 3.3 million units shipped in the previous quarter alone. And that is during, obviously, everything that's going on right now, where we're seeing a shortage of key components. So these are very impressive results. So for the hardware manufacturer, this translates into a new industry record for revenue. Okay, you need to highlight that. Industry record for revenue. Sony has once again beat the record it set with $25 billion in revenue across the fiscal year 2020, which is only the second time it has managed to break the $20 billion barrier. PlayStation itself then recorded profits of $3.23 billion across the fiscal year, making it the company's most profitable stretch since fiscal year 2018. As for the PS4, it sold another 5.8 million units, taking its total sales to an impressive 115.9 million. So we may as well just round that to 116 million as of March 31st, 2021. This translated into 338.9 million PS5 and PS4 games sold within the 2020 fiscal year, with 58.4 million of them published by Sony. For the fourth quarter, 79% of sales were for digital versions, which resulted in the PS Store's biggest revenue results ever. It generated more than 13.71 billion. So 79% being digital sales. Now, you guys know I love physical media. I'm, physical for life, but there's no doubt that with everything that's been going on this past year, it has pushed a lot of people to buying digitally. That's pretty much 80% of their sales were digital. So that's insane. Guys, these are some incredible numbers that PlayStation is doing. See, this right here is why I just do not listen to the negativity, to the fear-mongering about, oh, well, PlayStation's headed in the wrong direction and they're sinking ship and they're doing terrible, and if they keep this up, they're going to be, the next blockbuster or whatever. It's like, these people literally don't know what they're talking about. Now, does this mean that it's always going to be this good? No, but this is some significant growth we're seeing from the PlayStation division, and I'm sure that Sony's feeling pretty good right now. Again, we have to highlight 7.8 million PS5 sold. That's as of March 31st, so I'm sure that they've sold a lot more since then. It seems very likely that they're going to hit the 10 million mark by the time Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart comes out. We do have to understand that it's very likely the PS5 would be probably at around 9 million, 10 million, probably even more than that, right? If there were enough units to go around. But in general, what this tells you is that PlayStation is extremely healthy right now. It's doing just fine. And what Sony has been doing with the PlayStation brand is not just working, it's working really, really, really well. And so just wanted to take some time to go over these stats with you because they are frankly staggering. And if you are a PlayStation fan, I know that there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't care about unit sales, I don't care about numbers. Well, if you are a PlayStation fan, you might want to pay at least a little bit of attention to this because this should just let you know that if you like what PlayStation's doing, prepare yourself because they're going to keep doing it and they're going to keep, investing into it. And speaking of investing, I want to talk about some comments that were made by Sony that I think you guys are really going to like. This gets me very excited. So it says, following the publication of its financial results today, Sony Corporation has revealed that it plans to strengthen its video game software offering by aggressively investing in its first-party studios alongside strengthening external partnerships. Speaking to investors in a conference call, the transcript comes from BGC. CFO Hiroki Totoki said that the company will, quote, increase development personnel and other in-house costs by approximately 20 billion yen, so that's about $183 million year on year, as we further strengthen our in-house software, unquote. And so it goes on to say, quote, to enhance our software offering, we intend to continue investing and partnering with external studios, in addition to aggressively investing in our in-house studios, unquote, Totoki added. And he goes on to say, as I just mentioned, we aim to strengthen the PlayStation platform through actions such as the recently announced partnership with Haven Entertainment, which was established by Jade Raymond, creator of the famous game Assassin's Creed, and in our additional investment of Epic Games, along with the rest of the Sony group, we will also work to enhance the social and platform capabilities of games. So it goes on to say here, Sony's approach is in stark contrast to Microsoft's. While the company has said that it'll continue to look into mergers and acquisitions where it makes sense, its main goal is to strengthen its in-house development capabilities. SIE CEO Jim Ryan previously said that PlayStation's lineup is the fruit of not massive spending sprees, but of very, very steadily, carefully planned organic growth. Probably the best example he could give at the time was what they did with Sucker Punch and Ghost of Tsushima. So we already covered that, but yeah, I wanted to highlight this because this is very important to pay attention to. Now, I do believe Sony at some point will buy another studio. It seems like they're taking their good old time, and I think they're doing this purposely because they really want to make it clear that they are not reactionary, at least not in the traditional sense. Like, we see Microsoft, they buy Bethesda, everybody's screaming, well, Sony, you got to buy somebody now. And Sony's like, no. We don't need to buy anybody. We're going to continue to do what we do best. And one thing I really do need to make clear with this, okay, is Sony is, as they say here, planning to inject a lot more money into their current studios. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what does this mean? Does this mean that their games are gonna take even longer to make and they're gonna have even longer development cycles? No, I think it's actually something that we've talked about in the past, which is it seems likely that Sony's plans are to make each one of their big first-party studios a two-project studio. So I think they're gonna have basically, they're going to be the size of two AAA studios, and they're going to be split in half, and they're always going to be working on two big AAA projects at any given time. That seems likely what Sony's doing, but I do also believe that Sony will end up eventually acquiring another studio. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, maybe next year, maybe down the line, but at some point, it just makes sense that Sony's going to want to bring, another outside studio into the fold with its first party. It just makes sense. I think Blue Point, I'm hearing incredible things about Housemarque. Apparently, a review for Returnal leaked out early, and I forget where it was from. You guys will have to let me know in the comments, but whoever was reviewing it gave it a 9.3 out of 10. That was a one outlet, and that's really good. That's a really high, high number there. So if we start to see that across the board, who knows, maybe Housemarque will be the studio that Sony acquires, and that would be very interesting. But this gets me very excited because Sony is they are really going in hard, and they're going big with their first party studios. I mean, it seems like what we're going to be getting from Sony's first party this gen is going to be bigger than anything we've ever seen before, and that gets me excited. On top of them also making it clear that they plan to continue to sign on more studios to develop exclusive games for PlayStation, whether they're timed exclusives, permanent exclusives, but these are studios that are not first party, but Sony wants to partner with. And I think that that is probably going to be their greatest strength outside of their first party games. I think it will be Sony's ability to, you know, be strategic in who they bring on, like we're seeing with Haven Studio, as well as that other multiplayer game that they just announced from, what is it, Firewalk Studios, I believe is what they're called. So Sony's not playing around this generation, man. They are very serious about just continuing to double and triple down on what has worked for them. So very exciting times. Big things are happening. Trust me, big things are happening. Sony is trying to make that clear with everything they're saying here without giving everything away. But we do have to talk about something that's not necessarily bad, but maybe a little bit disappointing to anybody who is still trying to get their hands on a PlayStation 5 console. It says here, Sony doesn't expect PS5 supply to drastically improve over the next year. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to continue to sell well. So it says, transcribed by VGC, Sony's CFO said that they are considering a number of solutions to help it cope with the shortage of hardware components globally. So he says, as I said earlier, we're aiming for more sales volume than the PS4 during year 2, but can we drastically increase the supply? No, that's not likely. He then follows up with saying the shortage of semiconductors is one factor, but there are other factors that will impact on the production volume. So at present, we'd like to aim at second year sales of 14.8 million, which was the same as what we saw, you know, with the PS4. So basically what Sony's striving for right now, you know, during a time where there's, you know, global component shortages, is they want to try to at least continue to match the pace of the PS4. It would be certainly disheartening if PS5 sales ended up lagging behind PS4 due to something like a shortage. I mean, obviously that's better than sales lagging because people are just less interested. I'd rather it be because they just can't make enough units. But it seems very clear to me that the PS5 is going to outsell the PS4 in the long run. We just found out that the PS4 is now sitting at 116 million, which is incredible. That is the second best-selling console of all time, home console of all time. I think the PS5 is certainly going to beat that. By how much? Who knows? But some really good news all around for PlayStation. I was really excited to go over this with you guys because, yeah, I mean, Sony's really starting to ramp things up now, and to hear that they're basically coming off of their best year ever. I mean, again, I know not everybody cares about like how much money a corporation is making. I'm not saying that's what you need to care about, but what you should care about if you are a PlayStation fan is what this ultimately translates to. This means we're going to get even more games. This means PlayStation is going to become even more of a bigger priority for Sony than it ever has been, and that's good for us. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. Be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.